Hello and welcome to the Rebels Advocate. I am alone out here in my building except for the fly that has decided to do this video with me apparently. This video that I'm about to do, I knew I shouldn't do without careful thought and planning and, really taking into consideration the words that I would use. But for whatever reason, every time I tried to think it through, my mind went blank, and I always came up empty. I always really didn't know the words to even describe what I was feeling. So I said, fuck it. I decided to just come out here and turn the camera on and just try to get through this. I know a lot of times in talk therapy, there's been many times I've gone into therapy and had no clue what I was going to say. Like, I have therapy once a week, and it's like I don't even know what to talk about. This week it was just the same old shit as last week. I don't want to, rehash the same things I talked about a week ago. It's like all the goals I set, I missed them. I didn't do shit. So now I got to talk about wanting to do the things that I wanted to do last week. But somehow once I start talking, I venture into areas that I wasn't thinking anything about. But sometimes when you get talking, I guess, I don't know. I don't know if it's the subconscious that starts coming to the forefront or what it is. So here I am, and I'm just going to try to get through this and try to get through my feelings. I'm first of all, before we even get started, I want to say to my patrons, thank you so much for your love and support up to this point. I appreciate it so much. However, I will be taking down my Patreon account effective today. It may go back up in the future, but for the foreseeable future, I'm taking it down, and the reason is pretty obvious. No matter how hard I try, I have not been able to put out videos regularly. So for that reason, I'm taking it down. It's not fair to have up and not be putting out regular content. And don't worry about me. At least there was a point where I needed every extra dime I could get. I do have income now, so I'm okay. So don't worry about that. But also just I feel like this is either the beginning or the end of something here. I don't know, but doing away with the Patreon also gives me the freedom. It takes away the pressure, because I don't want to be coming out here and sitting down in front of a camera for no reason. When I'm just trying to think of something to say or whatever. And I've felt like, I've blamed it on the medicine or whatever. That I feel like my creativity is just zapped. I don't even know what to talk about anymore. And I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I kind of like my mental health has been all over the place. You guys know it. I've talked about it, and it's just I feel like I'm doing better, but it is a roller coaster ride, and trying to get the medicine right has been horrific. And it seems like every couple months they label me with a new disorder, and so I'm still struggling. I don't know how long it's been now, but we still haven't got things dialed in. So it's like every day is a struggle just to maintain my mental health. And I do really good for a while, and then it bottoms out. And there's also, besides the fly, there's also a bird that's built a nest in here. And it, it got in, it built a nest. I think there's babies up there, and, it poops all over everything in its path between the door and there, but I don't have the way I look at it, it's got a home now. Look how good it's got it. It's in the warm, it's out of the weather, out of the rain. This bird got it made, and there's no way I can take that away from that bird. I just can't. I can't. So I'm sharing the space with the bird. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I feel like I'm having an identity crisis a little bit. I think we all need a tribe. We're built that way. I think evolution has made us that way because we needed a tribe to survive early on. We needed that community, that group of people that you could lean on, to help get you through this world that is very cruel and mean and cold at times. And so we have evolved, and now we don't necessarily need such a tight-knit group for basic survival, but it's still, I guess, in our DNA. And you can't help but want that community that you feel a belonging to. And I feel like I have been trying to find that community for a long time. And in the real world, in the physical world, I'm not going to find that. Not where I live. It's proven to be impossible. Even, and a lot of times we look at that, well, we're looking for a group of atheists or whatever because I'm an atheist, so I need to. But atheism, while I talk about it extensively on this channel, is kind of why I started this channel. Atheism doesn't define me. It isn't, I don't need other people to be atheist in order for me to get along with them and feel a sense of community. I don't need that. I don't really care if, because I've met atheists in this area. I have, and so some of which are good people, but I've met some atheists, and they're just as big of assholes as anybody else. You know what I mean? Just because they don't believe in a God doesn't make you a good person. You know what I mean? Like, great, you don't believe in any gods, but, not to, we'll give away his last name, but I was talking to a friend of mine, Dwight, and Dwight, you talked about, humanism, and that kind of being the label you'd rather have. And for me, it's more about being a humanist and being a caring person, an empathetic person, not being cruel and heartless, and thinking of people outside, not just being kind to those within your community, but having a heart and empathy for those outside of your bubble, And I think I have a longing for that. And while I couldn't find it here, in the physical world and close, so like so many others, I've tried to find that world in the online community. And I felt like, about 5 or 6 years ago, I felt like I found that community. And it just so happened to be within the atheist community. Kind of, you have this big atheist community of, all the atheists, I guess, around the world. And then you have the smaller, in a way it is kind of like religion. We get, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. A lot of times you have people comparing atheism to religion. And they're almost always wrong because they're comparing it in a sense of your beliefs. Like, you'll hear them say things like, it takes more faith to not believe in a God than, and it's just ridiculous. So they're definitely wrong in those ways. However, atheism is a lot like religion in some other ways. Let's just take Protestant Christianity for an example. You have kind of this, Christians, and then just a million billion, subgroups and splinters and, within that community. You literally have Christians that believe other Christians are going to hell, because they don't believe exactly the same doctrine, or this little, we all believe in Jesus and this and that, but, you believe a little, you interpret this scripture a little different than we do, therefore you're going to hell, or you just aren't quite right. And so we have that a lot in the atheist community as well, because atheism, I think a lot of people within atheism we have kind of clung to that humanist role. That's what we would like to be, is more, a lot of people, and this may be why atheism ends up being so much like religion, is so many of us come from religion. So that's kind of what we're used to. But we cling to humanism, and it's a good thing. We want to be good people. But again, we are human. And humans are fallible. And sometimes we're just straight up assholes. And so it kind of turns into another thing. It's just another faction, another group. And then it becomes this thing of, here's what we believe now. And so everybody better believe this. And it's led me down this very, very uncomfortable road. And here's the part that has been bothering me, and why I don't know how to talk about it. Because we hear people talk about cancel culture and this woke environment, and people being too woke, all that. A lot of times we hear that from, just straight up shitty people, to be honest. It's people that a lot of times want to be bigots or want to be racist or, whatever. And so there is this kind of knee-jerk reaction whenever I hear that, to kind of push away from that. Like, no, that's not a thing. That, you're being ridiculous. And I definitely don't want to be on their side of most of these assholes that are complaining about, this woke culture. Because a lot of times what they're calling woke is just being empathetic to other people. So I don't agree with that. However, at the same time, I've literally witnessed it. I've literally seen it, where we tear each other down simply because I may have a different viewpoint, or I don't really understand this, or, whatever it is. And, I can understand if I'm being a shitty person, or if I'm directing hate towards somebody, but when it's just simply not fully agreeing with you, and now I'm a garbage human being, and it gets to the point to where there are topics you literally don't talk about, because if your opinion doesn't line up directly with everybody in the clique, then you're going to get shunned and kicked to the curb, just like you would have within a religion. It happens. And this is why I say I feel like I'm in some sort of identity crisis, because I don't know. It isn't so much I don't know who I am. I do know who I am. So I guess it's not an identity crisis so much. It's just I don't know where I belong. And that it's bothered me, because it's like, here's this community that I reached out to, and that I felt safe in, I felt comfortable in, and then to see that starting to crumble the same way as so many other groups and tribes, it's disheartening, and it kind of leaves you feeling like, well, maybe there is nowhere for me. Uh, you know, another area in which I think atheism can be comparable to religion is, religion has their prophets, they have their preachers, and religions or atheism's no different. We kind of have our leaders. We have our Dawkins, our Hitchens. We have all those, and then when they fuck up and they say some stupid shit, it kind of hurts, to be honest. Dawkins wasn't as much of an influence on me as, although I read The God Delusion, and that definitely helped me, but for me it was probably more Harris than anybody, Sam Harris. And so when Sam Harris says something stupid, it's kind of like, oh fuck, don't do that, Sam. But humans are humans, and sometimes people say shit we don't agree with, and I've tried to look at this in a different way, because unlike I found myself, here's where the identity crisis I think comes in, is I found myself because I did feel a sense of belonging to this group, and it was something I wanted, it was something I needed. I found myself acting just like them and doing things that wasn't really me. I found myself quickly, just writing people off that I disagreed with. But that's not who I am. That's I can't just, there are plenty of garbage human beings on this planet. There's plenty of them. But that doesn't mean that we can just quickly write someone off as garbage, because we don't agree with them. And what I try to do is look at their intent. What is their intentions? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? And I'll give a perfect example of this, and here we go. This could be, I'm getting ready to out myself as a garbage human being to half of my community right here, right now. Are you ready? I listen to Joe Rogan. Holy shit. Yep. Go ahead and throw me on the cross. I do. Do I agree with Joe Rogan on everything? Absolutely not. No. Joe Rogan says some shit that just makes me roll my eyes to the back of my head. But you know what? I say some shit that probably makes you roll your eyes to the back of your head. I hope you don't immediately consider me a garbage human being because of that. I hope you can look at me and say, well, Joe's wrong, and good God, I could be wrong about a million things. I know that. And I would hope you would look at me and say, well, Joe's wrong about that. I don't agree with that, but he seems to be, he wants to be a good person. He seems to have good intentions. And so, I don't know Joe Rogan, okay? I don't know him personally. He could be the biggest asshole in the world. However, I have listened to him for quite a few years. There was a time when I worked a night shift job and I listened to podcasts all night long. And Joe Rogan was one of those podcasts. And so I've been listening for a long time. And the thing about Joe is, I think, and this is just my opinion, I think Joe says some really dumb shit. But I think I think that Joe, deep down, is a good person that actually cares about other people. I feel like that's my assessment. I just think he has strong opinions and he doesn't care to say those out loud. And sometimes that gets him in trouble. And sometimes he says some dumb shit, but he believes what he says. These are his beliefs. These are his opinions on matters. And sometimes it's not enough just to be, what are the right words? Sometimes it's not enough just to not, I don't even know how to say this. Look, sometimes it's not enough to not be a bigot, to not be a racist, to not, all of those things. You also have to fall right in line with whatever we say. And here we go again. I'm just going to, I feel like I'm already, like I said, this is the beginning or the end for me. I don't even know. I don't know what's next as far as videos go, but who cares? I'm a guy on YouTube who gets 30 views a video. Who cares what I say, right? So here we go. I'm just going to make sure I just jump in the deep end. I am 100%. I think you guys, if you've watched even half of my videos, I think you know that I have tremendous empathy for, any group of people. But now we're gonna talk about the trans community just for a second. For trans people, I think you understand where I come from. If you've watched my video, I think it's called Apologies from a Former Bigot. I talk about how bigoted I was in the past and how hard I try to not be that person anymore. I want to be 100% accepting and loving and all of those things. I do. There is no thoughts in my head that, trans people are choosing to be this way or whatever. No, it's like, not only that, I understand that people are born, gender is a spectrum, sexuality is a spectrum, like all of these things, and you can be born anywhere on that spectrum. And I believe 100% that some people are assigned one gender at birth, and that might not be who they are. Like 100%. Okay? I am 100% on board with the equality, with love and respect. But then you get into this one question. Well, what about, and it's trans women. Really, we don't have this problem with trans men, but trans women, can they compete in women's sports? Now, within my community, you either agree they can or you're a bigot. It's as simple as that. And you can say, nah, it's not quite. Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it 100 times. And this is why I've never even talked about it or brought it up even on the online community. Because if you don't fall right in line, then you're cast out. Now, what are my beliefs on that? I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know. Because I understand my limitations of, like, I don't understand enough of the science of it to have a real strong opinion. However, sometimes that's not enough. You need to say, no, I think 100% they can compete. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that's true. I'm not sure that I agree with it. And it almost seems ridiculous that we have to have this argument, because it kind of feels like, well, sports is kind of stupid anyway, so who gives a fuck? But like it or not, sports is extremely important to the human race for whatever reason. We have made it extremely important, even though it seems dumb. A bunch of people out there playing ball or or beating the shit out of each other in combat sports or whatever it may be. But for whatever reason, that's very important to us. So trans women in sports is, for those reasons, is an important argument. I don't know enough to just cast in and say I agree with that trans women should be allowed to compete in women's sport. I don't know enough to say that, but I also wouldn't say they shouldn't. I say, well, I'm going to leave that to the experts. I'll let them fight that one out. What do I have to, with my limited knowledge? Why am I going to come down one side or the other? I don't know. I really don't. However, just for whatever reason, sometimes that's not enough. You either throw in on our side or you're out. I told you guys here back, and I hate to bring it up again, but the time I started a sentence with, hey guys, blah, 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 and just wanted to, start a conversation about something that wasn't, I was just telling a story. I can't even remember what it was, but it wasn't even anything controversial or whatever. And then I just get like all this heat thrown at me because I started my sentence with, hey guys. And apparently that was excluding people, and now I'm an asshole. Instead of constructive criticism or trying to tell me, hey, maybe next time whatever, but it's just, we're going to be snarky and mean and show how we're a better person than you are because you started your sentence with, hey guys. And what I loved about that is I did a quick search in the group and saw that this has been used so many times by women starting their sentences with, hey guys. But for whatever reason, it was, they were quick to jump on me, right? And so here we are. And so I'm in the middle of a Facebook ban, another 30-day Facebook ban for literally quoting a movie within. I was quoting The Big Lebowski within a Big Lebowski group. You know what? I have to go pick up my kid. I'm sorry about this, but I got to go pick up my kid off the school bus. I will be back. I didn't know this was going to run this long. Okay, I'm back. Thanks so much. That took a lot longer than what I thought it would. We ended up stopping at my mom's house, who lives down the mountain below us. And so I was gone a while. I appreciate y'all waiting this whole time. That was, I should have called you and told you it was going to be longer and you could have went and done something before. Anyway, where was we? I can't even remember. I think I was talking about getting zucked on my Facebook for quoting the Big Lebowski, in a Big Lebowski group. That was fun. I think I'm 14 or 15 days into my 30-day ban, and it's given me some clarity to try to figure out who I am, where I fit in all of this. And like I said, with some of these online communities, and with, again, here's another phrase that I hate saying because it gets used so much by people who just want to be bigots and want to be, assholes. And they'll use the word virtue signal. Oh, you're just virtue signaling. And a lot of times, like I said, I almost hate to use it because of the people who use it so much. But again, it is also true in certain situations. These people, just want to prove how great they are and the best way, and how virtuous they are. And the easiest way for them to do that is to call you out for how, for whatever, find something, because you started your sentence with, hey guys, or because you don't automatically agree with whatever, their belief happens to be. And so there is a lot of that going on. So where does that leave me? No gods, no heroes, no tribe. You know, I don't think that's necessarily true, because what I've learned is I'm not alone. You know, you feel alone because it feels like when you get called out in these online communities like that has kind of been your only community, it starts to make you feel like the entire community has turned against you. But the problem is we let these assholes, we let them run everything. Our communities and what have you, they're 9 times out of 10, they're not the majority. I know I'm not alone in these groups, and if you could single them out and talk to them individually, you'd find a lot of those people have the same issues and problems with the groupthink that I do. You know, it's just sometimes the assholes are louder than the more reasonable people, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm the only reasonable one, you know, or some shit like that. You know, in so many ways, I'm an asshole too. You know, I have my ways. That's okay. But I never want my assholery to be to the point of just trying to beat people down for no reasons, trying to find shit to label somebody garbage and not really look at their intentions. You know, if I look at somebody's intentions and their intentions is to hurt other people, their intentions is to discriminate against other people, their intentions is, you know, brings harm to other people, affects people in a negative way, yeah, that's a garbage human being, right? But if somebody has a different opinion than me and I disagree with them, yet I can look and see, you know, I think they have good intentions. I think they mean well, at least. I don't think they have any ill will in their heart. What the fuck, you know? Can we not disagree a little bit? Can we not have some things, you know, like I said earlier, I'm an atheist. It doesn't mean that I need a community of people that all don't believe in a God. Like, we can disagree on something that big and still be friends. Hell, every friend I have in the real life, in like physical, that I hang out with physically, basically every single one of them, with a couple exceptions, are religious people. They believe in a God. Like, we disagree on one of the biggest things you could disagree about, the very origin of the universe, you know, what happens when you die, all of that we disagree on, yet as long as they're not assholes towards other people, we can get along. So surely I can get along with these other people with, you know, in this atheist community. And if not, fuck it. I don't care. Like I said, this is either the beginning or the end for me. I don't know. But I think it's a new beginning, you know, of just not being a new me, but of just being me and not giving a fuck anymore. I can't give a fuck anymore. I've worried too much about what other people think and all that. There's a difference between not giving a fuck about people's feelings and not giving a fuck about what people think of you when you're trying to be as authentic as you can be. I don't know if I'm getting that across the right way, but it's, you know, I'm not one of those people who, like, oh, I don't give a fuck about anything. That's not me. But when I'm trying to do the best I can and somebody's still going to beat me over that, here's the thing, there's always going to be somebody to beat you over the head with you know, with why they think you're wrong, why they think you're a shitty person. I don't care how good of a person you are, there's always going to be somebody ready to just hit you over the head. And so to not give a fuck what those people think is okay. And I am telling myself that right now. It's okay. You know, some people might fucking hate you, but they're not important in my life. You know, they're like, especially online, these people online, they don't factor into my everyday existence at all. And you're going to let them affect you. You're going to you're going to sit and worry about what they think about you. You're going to sit and worry with whether or not you fit into the clique, the tribe, whatever. I am who I am, and if I get kicked to the curb or shunned because of what I say, as long as I can go to bed at night knowing I have good intentions, knowing that I'm trying to be the best person, I'm trying to be the best humanist I can be, I'm trying to be as empathetic as I can be, I'm trying to listen to other people, you know, to hear their thoughts, to weigh other people's beliefs, you know, then I don't give a fuck about those few assholes who want to try to bring you down just to make themselves feel a little better, you know. I think that's all I had to say. Sorry I did get interrupted in the middle of it and had to come back just for a few minutes to finish this up, but it's a lot of rambling again, which is, you know, all I do, but there it is. So the Patreon is dead, which means now if I don't post a video for 2 months, at least I won't feel guilty about it. And I apologize. I really do. I apologize to you guys, to my patrons for, you know, I guess you could say I had the best of intentions. I really meant well. I really wanted, you know, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted, you know, for the longest time, I've said, you know, I want to do a video every week or whatever, but I just haven't been able to do that. And so this will take a little pressure off, and hopefully, and maybe, you know, I'm not doing it because I want to quit making videos. I'm not doing it because I want to make videos less often. I still want to make videos every week. But I realize I have failed at that over and over and over. And so, and that pressure eats me up to the point to where I find myself trying to think of something to say that I really don't feel, if that makes sense, you know. And then just to, I'm going to go talk about this thing that I'm really not feeling. My heart really isn't into it. But you just feel the need to make a video. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have that kind of pressure. So this is for the best. And also, I've always talked about I want to be 100% honest, open. And I feel like I've done that quite a bit. But, you know, some of the things I talked about today are things that I haven't really been super open about. But that changes. Like, starting today, like, fuck it. You know, I can't worry anymore about, you know, about not, you know, falling in line with what this certain group thinks I should fall in line with. You know, it's not like I'm an important member of this community. You know, I'm just another brick in the wall, so to speak. I've had I've been banned from Facebook for 2 weeks now. I doubt anybody's noticed. You know, it's not like, oh shit, where did Joe go? You know, so fuck it. It's not like a big loss. It's just I guess it's just a feeling of wanting to belong to, whatever it is. But anyway, fuck it. I'm out. I enjoy talking to you guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. Am I an asshole? Are you an asshole? I don't know. Are we all assholes? That's probably, honestly, I think we're all assholes to some degree or the other, right? If you don't think you're an asshole, I guarantee you you're an asshole to somebody. Somebody thinks you're an asshole. Somebody probably thinks you're a garbage human being too. Most likely. I don't care how good you are. You're probably garbage to somebody. I don't know. That's probably not true about everybody, is it? I mean, there's got to be somebody that just everybody loves, right? I don't know. I doubt it. Anyway, I'm done. Till next time, guys. Thank you. I'm Joe. This is the Rebels Advocate. And this is the beginning or the end. Bye.